Absent.
Okay. Anil Desai. Honor Peter Spinoza. Dr. Jose Fierro.
Here.
Dr. Bob Hewlett. Salim Iqbal. Tom Jackson.
Here.
Zirk Lewis. Jeannie McCatton.
Here.
Mazin Nabalsi. Mariana Pacheco. Marissa Perez. Dr. Stephanie Rodriguez.
Here.
Dr. Jayesh Shaw.
Yeah.
Parimal Shaw.
Yeah.
Bill Stevens.
Here.
John Tanklage. Jesse Urquidi.
Here.
Nazi Yahia.
Here.
Okay. Looks like,
And, actually, Zurich and Honorable Espinosa is our ally.
okay. We have 10. We have
Okay.
10.
Therefore,
That point.
We have quorum.
thank you so much. Do we have any agenda organization items?
The only thing that I propose is if we could move on the agenda item 4.013 to coincide with 3.013, which is basically the presentation of the business club to coincide with the appropriation.
You're fine? Sorry. You want to take a vote on it? Yes. All right.
And what I did read is that if we if we're not zooming in, then we don't need to take like roll call by number, like by name, I mean.
We can all raise our
We
hands.
can rate, yeah, so
All
we
right.
can count A's and A's.
All in favor? Aye. All right. That just gave you 20 minutes. I like that.
Opposed?
Any opposed? Nobody opposed. Wonderful, fast. Thank you, Martha. All right, Dr. Rodriguez with the inspirational message.
Actually, it's a poem by Ralph Waldo Emerson. To laugh often and much, to win the respect of the intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate beauty, find the best in others, leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child or a garden patch or a redeemed social condition.
As always, thank you so much, Dr. Rodriguez. Do we have any correspondences?
No correspondence.
And do we have any public comments? Yes, sir.
Can we approach?
Yeah.
So we put you on the agenda so that you can actually speak on 301.
Thank you for the clerk.
We'll let you know, absolutely.
Thank you. All right. We are on to Dr. Fierro's president remarks.
I have a
Yeah, let me.
presentation down in 401, so I will wait till then.
Perfect. You're gonna finish.
Or we're gonna,
For sure.
or no, I don't know about that.
Actually, pretty long. We can say that next time.
All right. We'll move on to our executive director's report.
Okay, great. So, thank you everyone for being here and for our guests. Just wanted to inform that we're continuing to build good relations with our donors, with the college, really working on items that have been dormant for a little bit, mostly due to COVID, but we definitely had one of the biggest things that I keep hearing about were these faculty mini grants, the infamous faculty mini grants. And so we are going to bring those back, provided that we have a budget for them. We have a budget for them this year, and provided that we can continue that next year. Apparently, they have been very popular. I know from past experience that they're a great way to help start up some innovation on campus. So we're hoping to make that announcement by May. That's my goal. Just the announcement, but actually open the RFPs by September, or excuse me, by August, close in September, so that we can get those up and going. So I know faculty have already gotten really excited about it. We keep being asked about it, so that's great. We also, on that same vein, in terms of faculty and staff and building that goodwill within the college, we wanted to appreciate our payroll deduction staff and faculty that contribute to that. Again, it's one of those things that, they become our biggest ambassadors, right? They're not only working here, but also when they're putting in money to help support the students that they're working with, who better not to to acknowledge and appreciate as well, right? So we had a small, intimate faculty luncheon, payroll deduction luncheon. And already we had 2 new enrollees and 3 faculty already, faculty and staff increased their giving as well. And so we're starting to, we're going to start working on pushing that up because I want to definitely see those numbers up. So again, the more faculty are involved, the more staff are involved and embedded really within the fabric of philanthropy here, the better ambassadors that we have as well to go out as we meet with donors. And we got so many things. Also, again, in that vein, now we're the foundation is really working. The team has been working on getting really embedded within all the activities here on campus. Most recently, one through the scholarship process, and Keisha has been so wonderful about providing workshops to students, even at some point reading applications, giving them advice on their write-ups so that we have a good candidate of students for our donors. Also, Jason has been working the alumni angle. So in the sense that when there's activity that we see there's prospect alumni, most recently we had a grad fest. And so there was, Jason developed this activity where graduating students can get free headshots so that they can post on their LinkedIn. It was outrageously popular. Everyone's coveting. We're not surprised that we're going to see a bunch of other clubs doing the same thing. So it was an outrageous success. Of the 170 that signed up. Yeah, 121 came up, which is for our students, it's huge for anybody. So it was wonderful. And then of course, there's our audit, we've been working with our external accountants, BDO. And so that's kept Crystal busy. So there's a lot of activity. Again, it's all around building that rapport with the community, rapport with the college, and also making sure that we have also confidence in our financials as well, so that we can build good relations with our donors. That's all I've got for today.
Doing a great job. Thank you, Martha. All right, moving on to the committee reports. I know we've been meeting. I'm sorry?
I thought we moved up item 4.
To the third spot.
Oh, third spot.
Thank you, though.
10 more minutes, we'll get there. Let's go ahead with the Financial and Investment Committee report. Anil, would you like to give us a summary of our last meeting?
I think you will be in a better, position to get the comments that we had from the gentleman who was helping us with the financing.
Sure.
Please go ahead. Thank you.
Sure. So we met for the first time in a long time, as second time this month as a committee. Thanks to the help of Martha, she's really working hard putting all this together. We had a meeting with Barrett from Merrill Lynch, give us an update on the investments. We are seeing a good slow rebound already for the year. And they're on top of it. We went through all the different accounts. So we are going to be doing this on a hopefully a monthly basis moving forward. So we committed as a financial committee to meet on a monthly basis, review all our financials. And as you know, we are doing the new accounting system that we're rolling out. Martha has been really involved in that. We have a new company called BDO, and I'll give you a couple minutes to speak about them with the progress you've made with them so far. Let's discuss video. report.
Okay, so I know we've been hearing about this since January when I brought it up on the board retreat. So BDO is an external accounting firm. Basically, I wanted to bring them in because we saw that our records were a little bit in disarray, mostly because of the transition in different accounting people and then the lack of accounting people. And so we thought that it would be prudent at this point to kind of just pause a lot of what we have been doing and clean that up so that we kind of move forward with cleaner records. And which means part of it meant restructuring our accounting system in QuickBooks. And we're gonna have to merge now and enter the new 21st century and move from QuickBooks Desktop to QuickBooks Online, which is gonna be another beast. That being said, we hired BDO to come help us with that restructuring, also help us look at, go back on historical records so that we can come and clean up what's happening now. So that's how I've been working with them this week. And that's part of, Crystal has been supporting that and providing all the documentation. It feels like an audit, quite frankly, because it requires gathering all, older MOUs, some of you that have, had endowments here in the past, we have to look for all those endowments and hopefully we have records. And that's kind of right now, the research part is making sure that we have all those records to be sure that we are correctly tracking all the money. So
Yeah.
that's been, right now that this is the beginning phase. So
And as a committee, our goal is we're working toward putting easier financial statements for the board members to see on a monthly or bi-monthly meetings, where we have a one-pager that is very simplified. It shows us what we brought in, what we spent, how much we have, and the growth, all on one page. Of course, we'll be backed by everything else that we typically.
yeah, and you will see in this current packet, I took the advice of one of our other financial of June Ariano, who is on our financial committee. And he had mentioned, providing the profit and loss statements, balance sheets without every single scholarship and every single account that we have. It's basically, this is the total that we have in, restricted, unrestricted. So you'll see already a 2-pager versus the usual typical 12-page
Yeah.
report. And I also wanted to share that in terms of the investment committee meeting that we had. So he did mention, as Nazir mentioned, that Barrett shared that the tech has rallied, that also, I'm not sure if you were gonna mention the investment policy, if you want me to mention it. Sure. Okay, so we also reviewed the investment policy that we brought up at the last board meeting. And I know it went back to review because of the provision that we were putting in there on the cannabis, but after speaking with Barrett, he mentioned that we can just omit that because in this case, overregulation is a good thing. He mentioned that they blackballed a lot of the banks that have been where it's been hard to follow the money. And so that being said, he said there's at this point no reason to put that provision in there anymore.
Yeah, so we're still gonna benefit from a lot of the vendors that deal in the cabinet cannabis industry that are legitimate companies. They have good records and everything else. But when it comes to investing just specifically in marijuana, let's say that's not on the table right now because of all the regulations and the banking debacle that we're seeing right now in the market as well. So we're gonna put that off for a while and revisit again in the future.
But in the meantime, we're gonna vote on the 2 items that are in
Sure.
the
Yeah, we'll
investment
work on that
policy.
today. The other thing also, Martha's helping us looking at all the accounts. We have a lot of accounts, a lot of cash. So we're working as an investment committee on a monthly basis to make sure everything is gaining and working to our benefit. If we see we have a large amount of money not earning much, we want to make sure it's in a CD or it's something that's only 4% these days instead of 1 or 2%.
Mhm.
The interest rates are in our favor right now, especially with a lot of cash that we have. Awesome. I think that's more finance that you guys want to hear this morning at 7. Thank you so much, Anil. Thank you, Martha.
And then we also met with the new board. We also met with the new board, a new board member and development committee as well this month.
Yes.
Take it away, Carol.
Yeah, we met, I think, new
March,
board
yeah.
member and develop a new board development committee. We decided who can we bring in the board that can be valuable to the board, not just for the name of the sake, right? Has to well connected to the community, bring the funds, whatever we're looking for. I think we have like two
Prospects.
two prospect we're working on. And one from Edison, right? That's the one. And I think,
World Energy.
yeah.
Yes.
So we're working on that and any other person, I think anybody has any person in the mind, we can bring it, we can talk. And figure it out whether it's suitable for our board or not. We decided that we bring it to our board. So that's what I think we met and we decided.
And if I may interject one thing as well, I worked hard on this very well. We also have developed, and you'll see in your packet on page from 6 to 9, we're developing a new a board membership application that highlights what the responsibilities are of our new board members. You'll see the actual application so that we can, again, this is a good way for us to be able to see why they want to join the board. And also this application should be finalized by June. And we are also making a Google form version of this so that, again, people can go on there and apply to be on our board.
Awesome. Awesome. We talked about business cards last time as well.
Oh, that's a surprise. All right. So we also, one of the things that I didn't mention, so we're again working on revamping the foundation and giving it a cleaner look, giving it a little bit more of a connection with the college while still keeping it autonomous. And so we did create a new, we did work on a new logo with the public affairs department here at the college. On page 6, you'll see it on top of the application. And we thought that it would be so great that once we vote our new committee in, a new leadership committee or executive committee, that we're gonna start, we're gonna build, or what is it, create business cards for everyone on the board. So that, again, you guys are our advocates and you can go out there and splash Cerritos College all over town.
Yeah, thank you. Nice touch for the board member. Thank you. Wonderful. All right, moving on. Action items, approval of minutes for February 23rd meeting from page 10 and 11. Can we put a vote on? Vote?
Motion, yeah.
What motion, please? Can we get it wrong?
Okay. Anil,
We can raise our hands. All right, we're gonna save more money. More time. All in favor, please raise your hand. All opposed? All right.
Abstention?
Abstention, anybody? No. All right, passes. Approval to appoint Honorable Peter Espinoza as an honorary director.
Yes, so per our last meeting, we discussed that that Honorable Peter Espinoza, he was unfortunately, can't make it to our meetings. He was very apologetic about that, but loves the idea of being considered for the honorary board. And that being said, when I looked into our bylaws, it indicates that the director, an honorary director needs to be unanimously voted in. And because this is a position that, although it's non-voting, it can be a lifetime appointment. So that being said, I wanted to bring it forth.
My only question
Mhm.
with your discussion, he's all for it.
He's very much in favor of that. Yes. And then after this, we'll write a letter and,
And I know he's done so much for the foundation over the years and.
Yeah, this- yeah.
Yes,
and he's an alum and he's, yes, developed scholarship. Yeah, very big advocate for the college.
so. No problem. I second that him. Alright.
MJ.
All in favor? Okay, 100%. Anybody, anyone opposed? Abstaining,
And anyone that wants
all right.
a lifelong appointment, you know where to come.
Motion passed. We look forward to having him as an honorary director. All right, we now go to the best of the whole meeting. Appropriation request support for Phi Beta Lambda Business Club student travel to the National Leadership Convention, NLC.
We have him speak.
All right, please, sir. This side or that? Whatever you, this side's good.
The microphone, yeah.
Good morning, Board of Trustee members, Falcon leaders, community members, all those who lead Cerritos College blood like me. I'm a proud alumni, first generation, and now an instructor, professor of business. Just so proud to be here. I've been advising club for 16 years, and it's my honor to advise students and guide them. I thought I'd do a guide on the side. I'm so proud of the students. On April 2, on a Sunday, it's part of a 3-day convention in San Diego. 8 students have made it to nationals, meaning they did well in academically on type activities. And I mean, I'm so proud of them. So but we're hurting. We have $1,400 of our own. We had a Professor Johnson and it comes to only $500. And what I'm getting at is that it's going to take about $2,500 for each respective student to go and one advisor. But again, whatever you can allocate or give, we really appreciate. I know we have 3 minutes, so without further ado, you'll hear the student voice.
Morning, board members and attendees. My name is Justin Peralta. I'm currently FLA president for the business club here at Cerritos College. Our mission as a club is to inspire and prepare all students to become community-minded business leaders in global society through relevant career preparation and leadership experience. As mentioned by First Ramos, we recently had the opportunity to attend the state conference out in San Diego, where we competed in various competitions. Our club had seen many winners in the competitions competed and the events we did. So it was a very big deal. And we've been very fortunate enough to qualify for nationals out of Atlanta, Georgia. And we want to bring the home award. We want to bring some awards back to Cerritos College. And with the support, hopefully we can represent our school. Thank you.
Morning, Board of Trustees and members and attendees. My name is Alejandro Hernandez, and I'm one of the members for Phi Beta Lambda Business Club. It will be, and as Jessica has mentioned, it's also in going to LLC or National Convention. It has been one of the greatest goals of any member in the business club attending the national conference. We have worked really hard to get to this point, and any funds and any funds for and any money for on the funds that we need is greatly appreciated. We have did a breakdown to come to a cost of $9,595, including the hotel registration cost and the plane tickets that are required to attend NO.
For Board of Trustees, my name is Adrian Jimenez. I'm the event coordinator for Future Business Leaders America. As Professor Ramos touched on, we took a trip to San Diego in the beginning of April, and at that conference, we're actually able to win to the state. If we were to go to Georgia, to be given the opportunity to learn as much as we can about what our future entails, and get to network with people outside the different things. Chance to get the most out of our time here at college. Thank you for your time.
Morning, Board of Members. My name is Molly. And I am a part of the project, but I'm also part of the Alpha Sigma Honor Society Club. And both of these, the experiences I hear about is one of my most amazing educational experiences I've had. And y'all are asking me to support with this next year, that I think will also be one of the most amazing educational experiences. Hello, good morning. My name is Abigail and I'm the treasurer of this club. So I would like to help them and fundraise also. And I've been in this club for a year now, so I already really like to help them. Good morning, Board of Trustees. My name is Evelyn Flores. I'm marketing director for CBL. And so far, joining CBL last semester, I got to never see a lot of people I wouldn't have never like otherwise, unless I went to a conference. You also get to learn a lot from the people who speak at the conference. They give you a lot of different aspects of business, like from tech, and then from finance, like whatever you're interested in. And I think it's a good opportunity for the students to attend. Thanks.
Thank you, whatever you could to help us spread our wings. We've been active since October 28th, 1960. Started by Bill Caskey, and then the fourth passed to Lilo Powers, Judy Chow and Finkelstein, Tom Jackson, Dinner, and many others. And Mrs. Jackson, Marie Jackson. And we're out of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your leadership. I have a quick question. How many students are we looking to send?
At minimum, 3, meaning if it's a small cluster, 3 students, 1 advisor minimum, the first team of 3 that won, however, now 8 have qualified, so that's a good number. So 8 would be awesome, and 1 advisor. In fact, it would be our co-advisor. We trade off every year. Even during the pandemic on Zoom, we were trading off. So
And if you want to send
500 gets 9 people there.
2,500.
22,500 gets people there.
22,000.
We are trying with Felipe Lopez to fundraise as well. Our traditional method of fundraising does not work because of the timing issues. We're trying to get a check from TPK 10% and selling chocolate, but we've done it in that.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll personally commit $1,000 for you guys.
Oh, what a, come on.
Thank you. Good job. Keep it up.
We'll get you right off, and students will give you a
Yeah.
letter at the end. And
Thank you for leading this wonderful group.
So total budget, 8 students, what, 22,000?
Only the 8 students, 20,000. That's with Delta. We found a cheaper flight with American, but right now the flights, well, we could buy flights next week. They were in good shape, about $750 for round trip. It's 6 days, June 21 through 25. So it's an amazing experience. I am backup to go, so we do have a contingency, and then there's a third advisor in case someone can't make it. We'd like to go there. But the bottom line is 20,000 get students there, and even if my family, the Ramos Foundation, has to patient for the advisor, that's fine, we'll make it work.
So what is the deadline?
Thank you. Tomorrow is the deadline to commit to go, and that's a timing issue. It's inherent. So that's why if we can commit at least 4 minimum, then that would be fantastic. So a little bit under 10,000, let's say 10, it rounds up to 10,000 core, but then the balance will be 20. We are contemplating a crowdfunding type event with Jason. I talked with him and Maria Palaio. So we're industrious, working in the background. We're not just sitting our hand like this. The other hand is in the back sleeping and trying to make it work. In Spanish, they call it manos a la obra. In English, it's called manos a la obra.
Thank you so much. Good luck
The
to you
record
guys.
show that it's Martha Palaio and not Maria Palaio.
Thank you, guys.
I would like to add one thing. Jerry was a student of mine. And one day I was walking out to my car and he came by and he's got a tie and a sport coat. Jerry, where are you going? He said, oh, I'm teaching part-time now. And not only that, but then he's full-time. He took over Alpha Gamma Sigma and Phi Theta Kappa, which we started on this campus in 1993 with 212 students. The largest group ever chartered with Phi Theta Kappa. He's a real go-getter.
Yeah, the good mentor.
Dr.
Maybe.
Shaw wanted me to make sure to announce that this is also a tax deductible donation.
So can we donate, send it to you? No, how do we?
So let's,
So we need to
let's
vote-
first
we need to
vote on the
on this.
appropriation and then,
Well, no, separately.
yes, absolutely.
So can we put a motion on the table? Second?
Okay, so the amount of the appropriation I put down was $2,000. That's up to
So what is on the table? What do you,
2,000, what?
2,000 towards the cost of,
But they need minimum 4,000.
10,000, say, at least close to that, and they have, how much you have? How much money do you have?
Currently, we have $1,400.
14,
Oh, 19, someone donated 500 yesterday.
well, let's say 2 grand, so it gives sort of 8, you give 1,000, so 7. So why not we use propose 7, and in between we can work out different ways with that money that these 4 students can go. Meaning,
I have some,
yes,
resources, so. I think. Like 4 grand, like 4.
Okay.
And that was
At least 4 students can do, right?
So, yeah, I think.
That's what we target, and if it goes more, then less work, but at least minimum, I would say 4.
4, 5, so
Three.
3.
3 to 4.
So we're looking for 4,000 from the foundation. Can we vote on that?
With the motion.
I'll second. And all in favor, raise your hand. Any opposed? One opposed?
No, I don't think he opposed, he was late on.
You're in favor?
No pressure, no pressure.
If he opposes, then he has to pay.
All right, motion passed.
Okay,
Congratulations.
so 4,000.
Good luck to you. We look forward to seeing all your success there. Bring home the trophy.
That's right.
Oh, that's right.
We got class and some work, so.
All right.
Okay, thank you.
Have a
Thank you
good
so
day.
much.
Thank you so much. Next one, appropriation request support for student travel to the American Dental Hygienists Association.
So because we already had a full agenda, I wanted to be mindful of our time and so I got another request. That's one of the I'm always cautious about the different requests that we're getting and the precedent that we set as well. And so that being said, we had another travel request to send 2 students to Chicago, Illinois to compete at the American Dental Hygienists Association Spring Scientific Annual Conference. It's a research poster competition that's being held out there. We actually recently found funds in an old account that was sitting there in dental hygiene. So that was about 2,000. They think that they are able to raise a little more money, but they said that the total is going to be about $2,700 to send to 2 students. So
No,
You have $2,000 already there.
already there.
already, yeah. So about 7. Oh, thank you for that. As of this, since I sent this, I just realized, yeah, we just found it yesterday. So it looks like that it's about 700 more.
Yep.
Mhm.
I put the motion.
All in favor? Opposed?
Can I ask a question? Is there a line item for appropriations like that?
There is, and I put it in the agenda. There's, yes. So we have $20,000 that was approved in 22-23. So far, we've spent 4,500, 4,576 to be precise. So we're fine. We're fine.
So is that, what's the timeframe on that? Does it end June 30th? Or?
Good question. Yes, so June 30th, but these funds would be spent before then. Yeah, so, but yes, this budget is only for the 22-23 fiscal year.
So not used would be carried over for the following year?
No.
or it would be-
No, as a board, I will present to you an operating budget for next year and then, but it doesn't carry over, it has to be build.
So to answer your question, so far 9,200 has been allocated in 2025. Like 4,500 already plus 4,700 today we are doing.
One more time, sorry,
So we allocated 4,700.
47 today and then plus the four, yeah,
So 9,200.
Yeah. correct.
Awesome.
We got
All
one
right.
more month. 2 more months.
Moving on to update on Cerritos College performance indicators. The floor is all yours.
Yeah, finish up, yeah.
Yeah, no.
All right, good morning. So we have been working through our campus to kind of set or no, not set, but retune or direction as we work to improve the student experience. So for the last several years, we have done quite a bit of work to make sure that everything that we're doing across the campus align with the efforts that are happening in the classroom, therefore translates to student success. And I think we have made significant progress over the last several years, improving our student experience as it relates to their ability to graduate. That puts us in a situation in which we are lurking from the outside, lurking in to what is, this might be some of you know, is called the Aspen Prize for Community College Excellence. And essentially what this is a group of people that do research on how the students are performing, and based on those benchmarks, they award points to colleges and essentially rank them from the top college to post-intermediate improvement. And this is the only metric that exists, at least on the community colleges across the nation. They strictly grade the colleges based on the student performance. Whether they're not graduating, whether or not they're completing, whether or not they're closing achievement gaps. If you're doing all that, you get high scores. If you don't, you don't. It doesn't matter. Anything else that the college should do, like the campus, the facilities, nothing. Whether the students are doing well, the college is doing well. And it's an award that is given not to a group of people or a person. It's an award that is given to the institution. It's like a seal of excellence that stays with you eventually from that point on. So when we first started talking about this, we were way down the line. Like we were talking about it, but realistically speaking, we were not in the same category to say, yeah, we can aim to become an Aspen institution. But we said, okay, we can make some improvements, and we developed something that is called momentum points, which essentially is some factors, 5 factors there, that if the students follow them, chances of completion increase dramatically. It's pretty simple. So we developed these pieces and we decided that we were going to track them as leading indicators, meaning not wait until the end of their college experience to determine whether or not they perform, but do that every semester. And the first part there is attempting 15 transferable units within the first semester, 30 during the first year. It could be 12, 6, 12 for a variation of it. But the idea is that they complete roughly half of their associate's degree during that first year. If they do that, obviously the chances to complete the program in 2 years increase. And we are, after all, a 2-year college, therefore we should be doing everything we can to make sure the students get out in years. The other part is we ask the students to take math and English within the first year. Many students tend to put the classes today, and particularly math, it's the last class they take. And next thing they know, they haven't done math in years, so it makes it harder to complete. In fact, the farther away that you do math, the less likely you are to graduate. So those students that take to the last minute to take mathematics, they have the lowest graduation chances, and the data shows that they indeed sometimes fall short out of that one class that they couldn't pass. So we decided to put that there, and our first experiment with putting math and English in the first year was using Cerritos Complete. And immediately we saw the difference, and we decided to start moving that for everyone on campus. And obviously, coming back from the first semester to the second semester, it's important to keep the student engaged and obviously increase the completion rates. So what is it that the Aspen College of Excellence award looks in the institution? I told you earlier that it's all about the student experience, but how they perform in the classroom, not how good of a time they have in college. So the first one is based on learning outcomes, and essentially is under the intention that what we do in the classroom should be aligned with what they are going to expect, either when they transfer or when they enter the workforce. Let's say Craig has his program, everything is going well, but when the students get out of here, they do not have the skills that the local newspapers are looking for. They don't know how to use the latest equipment, or they don't know how to do the basic things that are expected of someone in the workforce today. So aligning the learning outcomes to the transfer or to the workforce is an expectation of those programs, and measure that based on salaries of the graduates, how quickly they find jobs, the connections that the colleges have to industry and partner institutions and so on. Completion outcomes, they do a 3-year cycle to count for different pieces, but essentially what they're doing is measure 2 and 3 years over a 5-year period, meaning you have to perform consistently well for a minimum of 5 years to be eligible to get an award like this. Labor market outcomes, as I said earlier, how aligned you are, how aligned the skills are, salaries, how quickly students get there. And equity outcomes, they're looking the whole ethnic groups perform at the same level or within a small margin or error. That makes the institution improve over time and quality of their eyes. So we have made quite a bit of progress, and I will show you the progress in a little bit. Then now we can start seeing how close we are to completion and transfer rates. The top 3 institutions in the nation, community colleges, are having completers and transfer rates at 73%. Those are first-time college students, meaning graduating high school and entering college right away. The finalist average, essentially the top 10 colleges, are doing 51%, and national average 40%. Cerritos College now is actually on the cohort of 2009 at 39%. We just got basically to the national average. I want you to keep that number in mind, because you might be wondering what was the improvement, and I'll show you in a minute. The finalists here, the first community college to win the Aspen Prize, and a college that continues to be one of the elite community colleges in the nation, is Valencia College. And in order for them to win that award, they had an improvement on graduation, completion rates, transfer rates of 84% over 6 years, and 46% on 6 years and 6 years for certificates, diplomas, and so on. So they improved their performance quite a bit. We have been increasing our degrees and certificates consistently over the last 5 years. And we discussed a couple months ago, last year we graduated, the largest graduating class. We're hoping to have similar results today, but essentially from 2015 to 2022, we have gone from awarding 2,400, 2,500 degrees and certificates to 5,100 plus degrees and certificates. So the improvement has been quite a bit that we are now starting to get to those averages that I mentioned. So a transfer and completion of underrepresented minorities on those institutions, because remember I said equity was a factor on the student on the grade of the institution. Those are the averages. Cerritos College is at almost 3 points above the national average at this point now. So when I'm saying we're getting close and outside looking in, we're getting very close to start moving from national average to and the entry point of an Aspen institution. There are 150 that are the top institutions out of nearly 1,200 community colleges across the nation. The Big Ten every 2 years, and obviously the finalists every 2 years. We have gone from graduating 8% of our students on time to 16% of our students, from 24% of our students in 3 years to 33% of our students. That is an improvement of 87%. The improvement that you saw the first awardee a couple of slides ago was 83%. The difference is that Valencia started a little closer on the national average than we were. So they made 80-some% improvement. Of course, they became the top institution in the nation. We made an 87% improvement, and we're hitting now the averages and above the national average, getting closer to those numbers for top institutions in the nation. So this is significant work. Faculty, staff, administrators, everyone have really worked quite hard to make this progress. And now we are, as I said, from the outside looking in into the institutions that can qualify for ASME recognition. So those are 5 pieces of what Aspen kind of looks into it. And as you see, everything is designed to measure the performance of the institution, not the performance of any one person. And the performance of the institution there is measured on how the students are doing. So, what is, one more. So how are we gonna try to achieve that over the next 5 to 6 years? We're gonna try to get 50% of our new students to complete within 3 years. That is a large task. It's an ambitious goal. Then on academic momentum, 35% of our new degree seeking students will earn at least 15 college credits during that first year. Earned successfully completed. And every course succession, that first semester, we're gonna make sure that those that they are exposed into 5 transferable courses. That requires a lot of organization because it's not simply putting the students there. We need to make sure the classes are there, we need to make sure the schedules are there. And we have now a committee across campus that is actually working on how to schedule classes. And we're working pretty hard because it is not an easy task to coordinate every department, so that we're looking at different ways to do that. We have a Center for Teaching and Learning. The last year or 2 have revamped completely the curriculum to make sure that it's focused on the development of the faculty and their craft, and ensuring that the classroom is developed in the same way. So faculty is stepping up, or classified staff are stepping up, and obviously our managers have to become more active on the use of data, and they are also doing that. But a few things to keep in mind. Sometimes people say the colleges are not necessarily businesses, and some people argue the opposite, the colleges are businesses. But our business is actually a student success. The core of what we do is student success. And if we are to have a business, it's the business of student success. As an institution, we need to continue to move forward in not blaming the students for their gaps. They're already here, they are the students, there is no need to blame them. To simply how can they get to work and get them to where they need to be. And in the old days, this student is not ready for college. Today, things have changed. Are we ready for the other students? That doesn't mean standards are lower, it means the services that we provide are different, the support needed is different. So am I boring you this morning with all this? One, I wanted to share on the successes of the college, because yes, doubling those numbers takes a lot of work on the people that are actually doing the classroom, or counselors, relying on the students and so on. But there are other factors that contribute to that, as you saw today. Students don't talk to you, get exposed to opportunities that are outside of campus. And those opportunities sometimes cannot be covered through the regular funds. Gary in particular, you probably noticed where was he going, right? And at this time, from California, you cannot go in business to some states, and they're going to Georgia, one of those states. So that type of experience, when you come and help them out, put them in a different track. Some of them, obviously, maybe never been in a plane, never been out of the state, or never been in an environment where they're going to meet working professionals that are going to be the judges and expert in their fields that could change their outlook in life. So that is something that I value a lot of the work you do. So obviously, we want to share with you on this success. Two, speaking a little bit, when you go into your communities, you always remember a few things of what we're doing here. So you will share that with others. Obviously, continue to shape the image of the college in our district. And last but not least, as we move forward, your collaboration and keeping in mind that what we do needs to continue to be around the success of all the students. It will help us make better decisions, and I will answer any questions you may have.
I have one comment and one question. Comment is, you're absolutely right. What experience they will get today would last for a lifetime. They will remember for the rest of their life. And I remember my first experience, and I moved from a small town to a city. It's exciting and learning experience. So, wonderful job. Question is, 5 slides from the last one. You showed the numbers there from 2018.
Yeah.
Is that so? Help me to understand. Is that how the Aspen Prize Award Committee takes the numbers, or are we showing the award number? We have
This
decided.
is one of the things I hope they change, because it kind of drives the crazy. The state and the sector that collects them in 6-year cycles, and they call them 6 years ago. So on this data, I will not get the 19 until next year, because they don't release it until the cohort has completed. So we were trying to be as consistent on the data as possible. So we were using the state data and national data rather than our own. But unfortunately, they track the progress every 6 years. So for instance, right here, the 2014, that is a 2020 graduate. 2015, 2019, 2015 is a 2019 graduate. And so.
That's how.
Oh,
Thank you. What's your forecast, knowing that we went through COVID and
I am, this year probably won't change much. Next year probably will. That will be the full impact for us at that point.
yes. Hopefully that's a quick comment. Go ahead, Chief.
Okay, the question about the slide that has the 6-year goals.
Yeah.
On the middle one, it says that 75% has 15 credits in the first year. Is that because many have to like backtrack a little bit? So they have to backtrack and then start their,
That's a really good question. So now there is a law, they prohibit us from backtracking the students.
okay,
Ask for support services and to consider the high school GPA and their high school math for placement. So that allows them to start almost on par as in the old days.
okay.
The 75% is accounting some of them may not take a full load of classes or may not complete them all. So the goal will be to at least 75% at least have finished 15 units in that first year. But the average is higher than the 15 for us to increase or not.
So over like a 6-year period, I'm thinking of all the legislative changes that have taken place over this, which would also sort of help to bump up these numbers as well for our students, right? So
Correct.
Put some English and math.
We're seeing significant numbers on math and English now that you're placing the students there. Obviously, there's support services, but now they have the opportunity to earn the credit right away rather than waiting a year and a half to earn it.
This is just a question, but maybe there now.
Yeah.
Do you think the implementation of Common Core back in 2010?
I don't know.
My daughter's 14, that's why I said.
If you don't know,
They don't go that old.
yeah, we don't, yeah, no, this is just from the time they entered the
Good question, though.
Yeah, no, I thought-
My whole family in education, that's all I heard for 5
Um,
years.
I was in the school board, that's all I heard.
Bill, that's-
I just, quick comments, I know we're over time, but I wanted to emphasize something Dr. Bureau said about the business community. Like, prior to Cerritos, I was at a college, a community college that was a top 10 Aspen finalist as well. And it's very intense, you're absolutely right. But one of the things, because I was in actual, one of the interviews, so in a different area at the college, where they actually interviewed us, where they came for a top 10 finalist. And they emphasized about connection to industry, where the students were working, what they're doing, internships, and that's one thing that this college did really, really well as well. So to emphasize that, yes, because I was a part of that, and in order for this college to get to there, there was a lot of different factors, but that was a big one, how well connected to the community are your students, and in terms of placement and CTE outcomes and all that stuff. So I just want to emphasize, I've seen it firsthand, that it's a great thing to be a part of, but it definitely does require a village. So I just wanted to mention that.
Awesome. Any other questions?
I have a million questions, but I'll let, just one, with regards to CTE and, where are we in terms of campus-wide and, relationship with industry, internships and careers? That doesn't always seem to be a big focus here. I know we have it, but I've seen other colleges where they place their.
Yeah, the CPE is very active. I will say, or traditional programs have quite a bit to learn from the CPE on how the programs are organized, the connection to the community, internship and placement. And a week and a half ago, we had the CPE partners breakfast, which essentially brings all the industry partners, internship providers, and what the student center was back. So they do quite well. They do it quietly, I think, but they do pretty well.
Are we connected, Jason, with the CPE on the alumni Association.
We do have some alumni that are involved with that, and that's probably, just selfishly why I asked that, because when I'm connecting with alumni, and Martha knows that I'm very, one of my, my heart's a lot with in placement and internships. So if I'm not asking for money, quite frankly, I'm asking for jobs for our students. That's my philosophy. If you can't give us, write us a check, and you offer an opportunity for a student. So that's my call to everyone here that's in the business community.
Hit us
Yeah.
up. Hit us
Or
up
both.
anytime.
Yeah, or both, That's my perspective. That's a perfect scenario. But an opportunity to have a student there, that goes a long way for putting the college in a position like this. So,
Awesome. Well, just a comment, Dr. Vieira, just on behalf of the board here, just want to thank you for your leadership and tenacity and always putting school first and working so hard for our students. Thank you so much. You've done so much.
It can be like the campus as a whole, otherwise
Absolutely.
it wouldn't work.
Absolutely. You have a great team.
Can I add one more detail? I want to personally thank Dr. Fear for helping with the meeting. A friend of mine works for a national healthcare organization. And she was having a meeting with Congresswoman Sanchez. And she said, which community colleges are in the Congressman's district? And I said, I know 3, but I'm gonna say this one. And Dr. Fear was able to get the dean of the nursing program to go with her to the meeting with the Congressman to showcase healthcare with work on. Dr. Fear, thank you. All it took was a phone call from me to say.
It makes a lot of
And
stuff
with that, I
happen.
gotta go now.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Pierre. Moving on to the Hollywood Foreign Press Association Joint Outcome.
Yes, I actually invited Professor Christian Brown. He presented before the fact that we received this funding from the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, and today he's going to share the outcome of that funding and the experience of our students. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Good to be here again with the board of directors, Dr. Piero, Director Vallejo. And I won't be long. I'm the son of 2 Pentecostal preachers, so don't give me a microphone. Hey, so I'm happy to report that due to that money, you all were able to send our students to San Francisco for the Associated Collegiate Press Conference, and they won first place. Best community college website in the country. They're competing against community colleges from all over the US. This is the 2nd year in a row that they've won. So they're at a 2-peat now. They said they can make it a 3-peat next year. But yeah, the collegiate press brings together 1,000 student journalists, 125 media speakers, people who work in the industry to train our students. So they got to rub elbows with folks from CBS and BuzzFeed News and Vice and all the places they want to work. I apologize if they didn't come. Journalists are typically night owls, I feel, so it was hard to corral them to get here. But as any good professor, I gave them homework. So I said, if you're not going to come, you need to tell me what to tell them. So they sent me a little bit of information about their lives, why they became journalists. I'm not going to read too many of them because I got a class pretty soon, but I just wanted to share with you from their own words why this was so important for them to go and to do this and what life is like for them. So Diana Morales, one of the students, she's 21 years old, has been in Cerritos, as Dr. Pierre said, for a couple of years now, she's trying to transfer. She wrote to me and said that in October last year, her family was evicted from the house that they live in. Mom, her 2 little sisters, and the dog were evicted after their uncle who used to live to them passed away. So she said this was an extremely stressful time in her life. The rent's going up and had a challenge finding some place to live. And she says, although it's a very hard point in my life, it hasn't made me give up on focusing on becoming a photojournalist that she really wants to do. She says her dream is to give a voice to queer women, queer Latinos. She wants to be able to break stigmas, give more awareness to people who don't feel like they're being heard. And after going to the conference, she says that she thinks the role of a journalist is to be truthful to people. No matter how ugly things might get, journalists should be able to bring not just negative news, but happy news too. From somebody who is a struggling student, just lost her housing, but still wants to make a difference. Sophia Castillo, another one of our students, she's actually going to graduate, transfer to Cal State Long Beach. But she had gotten accepted to some four-year universities, but actually didn't go because her mother was one of the first people to catch COVID. She writes in here that finding out my mom had COVID was a very scary time, and I never thought it would be as bad as it was. She said her family, both of her parents work every single day, even on the weekends, just to provide for her and her little sister. Her mother was in the hospital. They did not actually think she was going to survive. But phenomenally, she came out and recovered. Because of her mother's continued long COVID and health issues, she decided not to go to the four-year university so she could take care of her little sister. Which her mom says she was really mad at her for that. You should go to school, but she's like, no, mom, I'm gonna help the family. So she's excited that now she'll finally be able to get a chance to transfer, like her mom wanted her to, and become a journalist. She said that I think a big part of journalism is social media influencers are kind of taking our jobs, and journalists aren't as respected anymore, but I want to change that. Samuel Chaco is our editor-in-chief for 2 semesters. He's the first Indian American to ever be editor-in-chief of our newspaper on campus. Done a phenomenal job. That's why we won 2 awards in a row. Yeah, he also talks about how his family went through a divorce. He has to live with his mom and his brother. Life has been a challenge for him, then moving from location to location and city to city. But as he was a high school student, he learned about journalism and said, I want to do that when I grow up. And so he's had his eye on it. And so he said he believes the role of a 21st century journalist in the day-to-day is to be unbiased as possible, report the facts. I want to genuinely want people to believe what I'm reporting and yeah, be unbiased when I cover things. And then lastly, I'll just share about Julio Rodriguez. He takes 2 buses from Pico Rivera to get here every day. His brother's a student here as well, and is studying in the automotive department. He says when he started at the Talent Marks, he didn't know what he wanted to do. He's one of those students that's an undeclared student, just coming to college to figure it out. But after being in our class, he said, now I know what I want to do. He never had left LA County at all. So going to San Francisco was the first time he's even been out of Southern California. So he says that now he feels like he has the confidence and that this will be his career choice. He's decided now I'm going to be a journalism major. My line of field is more on the entertainment side of things, he says, but he believes that the role of journalists is to bring out the stories that people need to know. So I just want to thank you for all the work you are doing. Our students have really been impactful in their lives. Students are struggling, they're trying to make it, a lot of them first generation students. But journalism needs these people. They're the exact people that need to be in the newsrooms telling the stories of today. And so we applied for another grant from the Hollywood Press Association. They spotlighted our students on goldenglobes.com. So our students got a chance to share all of this with the Hollywood Press Association. So we look forward to coming back. And second, we got more money to do more things for our students.
Thank you, Professor Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, do we have an update on the Phi Beta Lambda Business Club competition?
That was the appropriation, yeah.
And fundraising activities.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, thank you for that. So right now we have, the one thing is actually one of our trustees and board members, Marissa Perez, she is having a birthday campaign. She's turning 50 years old. She allowed us to publicize this. She's turning 50 years old and she has a 50 for 50 birthday campaign coming up on June 2nd. So basically she wants to raise funds for scholarship money for women in STEM. And so that's going to come in on June 2nd. We're going to be sending out the invitation for that. And then also we've already started, unfortunately Jesse had to leave, but Jason has started working with the golf committee and we had our first meeting September 28th, mark your calendar. I keep saying, yes, thank you. I have 18 here too. September 18th. So mark your calendars. And in terms of fundraising activity, that's all we have. for now. But I'll discuss on financial matters, the other stuff that we have going on.
Sure.
Can I? Okay, and so just an update on new grants and whatnot. So we haven't received the award notices yet, but I did want to report that we applied for 3 grants last month. The HFPA, as Christian mentioned, we applied for $30,000 this time. United Way, we also applied for $51,825, and that is to assist with food, for food basically in the at the Falcon's Nest. And that was a collaborative effort working with the Falcon's Nest, Pamela Sepulveda, who presented here last week. I also applied for the LA County LA County Economic Opportunity Grant, and we applied for $25,000. Cindy was apparently on that call as well. And so we applied for $25,000. And so now we're just waiting to hear from the funders. So let's just cross our fingers on that. And I also wanted to mention that one of our other board members and Chair Nazi was so wonderful at bringing in somebody from his company, the philanthropy person, representative came over, toured the Falcon's Nest.
Cerritos College 30 years ago.
Oh, that was a funny one. Yeah, it was an interesting find. So she, an alum then, came and toured the Falcon's Nest, created a hygiene drive at New York Life. And not only did they donate hygiene products to the Falcon's Nest, but they also donated $3,000 to support the Falcon's Nest as well.
And we're gonna be doing that on a quarterly basis. So if you guys know any companies that have 50, 100 employees, great drive. It was fun. All the employees participated, bottles, shampoo, soap, whatever. But it went a long way for the Nest. So we're gonna do that on a quarterly basis.
And then we also signed a contract just yesterday with, or an agreement rather, with Food Cycle, who is going to be, apparently Trader Joe's had mentioned that they want to work with Cerritos College and provide food for the Falcon's Nest at Cerritos College. And so we entered into an agreement with Food Cycle. It's not any cost to us. It's basically just a way to make sure that we're getting that food into the Falcon's Nest with them overseeing the entire process. So that's another wonderful, wonderful news. But that's all I have in terms of grants and pledges.
Thank you so much. If you haven't got a chance to see the Falcon Nest, I highly recommend doing a 10-minute visit. Great place.
Yes.
All right. Any upcoming key dates we have?
Well, I wanted to briefly mention the financial report before we go into the upcoming meeting. So as I've mentioned, so we condensed the reports so that they reflect basically all the buckets that Nazi had mentioned. We have included the profit and loss statement and the balance sheet as well. And so again, we've been working on making sure that we are appropriately tagging and documenting accounts, stocking accounts in the right categories. It's still a little bit of a, we're still working on some of the items that may or may not be reflected in here. So they're somewhere in here, but in terms of the ordinary income and expenses, you'll see that we have $176,000 in total income versus the total expenses of the ordinary expenses. So you'll see that there is a negative 83. However, one of the items that we already noticed was that $61,000 from the management fees of the investments wasn't being recorded in this area. And so what you will see though is that under income, I mean, we're up $378, not $378,000. Just give or take a few zeros under other income. And so you'll see that in terms of net, we're at $271,854 for up until now. So again, this is the fact that some of the investments are rallying and we're now starting to see a positive shift.
Yeah.
And our current net assets, you'll see in the balance sheet, we're at 9,068,489, which is a really nice number to see because we had seen it dip a little bit because of the investments.
Any questions for Martha? Awesome, thank you so much, Martha. And Dr. Sierra has one more comment.
Thank you. I forgot to mention, a couple of weeks ago, we received our first level of authorization to begin offering baccalaureate degrees on campus. And the first one is going to be on dental hygiene. We are on the process of changing our accreditation authorization to ACCJC and the Chancellor's office, and if everything goes well, probably by the end of June, we'll have a final authorization. And the program development will begin during the summer. So hopefully in about a year, we'll be in the first class, and we'll be likely submitting a second application for another program.
So do they finish that in 4 years or do they finish it in 3?
4 years, so it will be the entrance to, I think it's an entry in and out point, so you go through the process, you get your associate degree and your credentials.
So right now they're transferring to like cost it won't be.
There's only transfer opportunities for that, yeah.
And other colleges are doing that already, like that, you know.
I think it's the lay has the same program. I think Rio Hondo has one program as well.
What's the second program?
I think it's somewhere in automotive. Yeah.
They'll go work for Bill.
Yes,
All right, upcoming key dates.
so how many of you are going to the military ball on Friday? Yay, all right, that's awesome. So we have a military ball on Friday. So think prom if you want, if you want to figure out how to dress. On Wednesday, May 3rd, we have our scholarship and alumni award ceremony coming up. So please, I hope that even if you don't have a scholarship that you're awarding, please come and support the foundation, support the students. It's going to be a great event. Yeah. And this year we're going to be offering an alumni award to Eric Galindo, who is not only a graduate from 2009, but also has been doing amazing work in the community and very I don't want to say up and coming. I shouldn't say that. He's come. Like he's really doing amazing work, and we're excited to get the students to connect with him, and apparently our trustee as well, like to help in other aspects. As I mentioned, June 2nd, we have Marissa's 50 for 50 birthday fundraiser in the Performing Arts Center, and that's it. Our next meeting is June 22nd. I look forward to seeing everyone here again.
And we're voting that day, right? Next
June
meeting for board members.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Start your campaigns. Yes, June 22nd. Yes, that's when we elect a whole new slate for the executive committee.
Start thinking about what you want to do next year on the board.
Yes.
Wonderful. Any comments, questions, remarks? Thank you all for joining us and have a wonderful day. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.